Good morning, everybody. So I came as a guest last year's conference. Now I'm a host. I'm part of family of Internettechies, and I'm before you to give my today's keynote speech on the story of money. I have a challenge, actually. I have to touch upon all the topics that's going to come today, and not delve deep as well. So I should be broad and not in-depth. So that's diktat. Okay. So before that, any idea what is the etymology of cash? You know the term cash, right? But any idea where it came from? What is cash, the root word for cash? Any guesses for cash? What the term cash, every word has got a root, right? A path it traveled and finally came to know as cash. I'm sure someone had some thing in your mind. It is from Portuguese. So the Portuguese created this thing and then it went to English. But the interesting part is not that. The interesting part is Portuguese picked it from Tamil. So Kasu went to cash in Portuguese and finally ended up as English word cash. So somewhere the topic is pretty much related to this part of the country and this part of the world. Okay, I'm glad to be here and then talk about it. Okay. So first, as you could see there, money is the cause of many happiness, okay, and a few maladies. Okay, few is a questionable thing, but then both, it's good and bad. Good because, people are happy to possess wealth, but then along with the undue wealth comes the maladies. I'm going to take you through for next probably 15-20 minutes and then tell my views on this, how it all evolved. So what does money give? As it's sold, it gives a lot of power, okay, and lots of money gives a lot of happiness, that's what people feel. And then it gives some amount of authority, okay, that's a comfort that people derive, that there is authority that's derived by having a reasonable or more than reasonable money, wealth. Okay, but along with that comes some amount of sadness, okay, because people have to safeguard the wealth, safeguard the money. Okay, there the challenge starts. Okay, and finally it ends up in struggle of safeguarding the money. Okay, that's a challenge. Still you have money which is exactly meeting your needs and people are happy. But when there is more money, okay, which is going to be beyond what you need, then the struggle starts. So the challenge comes because of that only. How do you safeguard the money? Okay, what are the mechanisms for that? And then it's a continuous race, right? The safeguarding of wealth and then plundering of wealth. There is one, the robber wins at times and then the owner wins at times. So it becomes a continuous race behind this. So, but how it all started? We are talking about, lot forms of money these days, but how it all started? Valuables of SES, what was seen as valuable? Okay, now we know it's our hard currency, or the cards that we possess, or probably the precious metals that we possess. Okay, but what was the valuables of yesteryear when it started? First, of course, is the salt. As you know, people tell, are you worth your salt? That's a first asset that a person possessed. Okay, this is a system where you can barter what you had with others. Okay, so and then after salt, of course, things like the animal skins was an asset. Okay, so the skin mattered a lot because this was cavish time. People want to protect themselves from bad climatic conditions. So animal skin always was a great asset to possess. Okay, that was seen as an asset. And surprisingly, till this Parmesan cheese was an asset. Okay, so you can exchange Parmesan cheese for something else. You probably can get some gold, give some cheese and get some gold back. That's the way things were. Okay, and then the tea bricks, as they call. It is not the tea packets, what we see these days, tea bricks. The Chinese people used to pack them hard and make them like bricks. Okay, so it was broken and used. So food was an important thing, like the cheese. So tea bricks was a valuable asset. Okay, and then the raw rings. You have seen these huge rings. Okay, even our own early days could be a few decades before. Okay, 70, 80s before. The small coins had the holes. Okay, this was an asset. This was a coin that we had always. Okay, that's called as the rice stones. But the rice stones were also huger ones. People gave it to others, and then they kept it in certain tons. That's the weight it weighed, the rice stones. But as an asset, they're held by people. And of course, finally, to safeguard yourself, things like the knife was seen as an asset. So these are the valuables of older days. It was very peaceful, actually. Okay, you possess something, you give to something, and then get back into what you want. Okay, so there was a need to give and take. Okay, things are much better in the early days, but then things evolved, right? So money, how it transformed? Initially, it was a half shekel, the metal which we wouldn't value at all. Okay, that was the first one. Next, of course, precious metals started coming in. Things like the silver mattered a lot. Then became gold, then became currencies. You can see how it is transforming. It was more physical early days, okay, till probably things like gold came in. Then currency was actually an indicator of wealth. Remember that. Currency was not gold, currency was not silver, currency was not an asset. Currency was an indicator of asset, where even this you can see, right? The RBI governor signs telling that I promise that I'll be paying so much money for the person who's holding it. So it is a promise given by the central bank. So the form of money changed, okay? And then came the cards, the plastics that made us feel very comfortable, where we never bothered about our spending. Okay, we did not think about what's going to impact by using these plastic cards. And virtual money started. And of course, the current fad is the Bitcoin. Okay, so Bitcoin, I'll tell about broadly about Bitcoin. There's one session fully on Bitcoin, expert talking about it. Okay, and that's a fad of the current day. So if you take the forms of money that we use, any mechanism, it could be your day-to-day activities. It could be for a school thing, or it could be for vegetables, or it could be for the salary what you get, for the retail loans that you could pay. Anything comes in e-money. Okay, there is no need for hard cash to be used, except under miscellaneous small services. Probably if you want to go to a cobbler, if you want to buy some flowers, okay, only there the hard cash is required. Otherwise, the money format has changed totally. It is more of e-money. No more you require to have hard cash when you go around and have to buy this, except only for few services that you may need. Okay. Otherwise, it's all virtual money. That's how it is. That's a transformation money has taken from what it was and what it is right now. Okay. And this poses a challenge when it's virtual money, which means someone is holding your money somewhere on your behalf, and you only have a channel of payment. So what could happen in the storage of your money is something depending on the risks involved. So I have a small video by Dan of PayPal. He's the CEO of PayPal. The recent World Economic Forum. He tells his views on what is the future of payment.
Dan, given your status as one of the original fintech disruptors, what trends enabled PayPal to be launched now 15 to 20 years ago, and what is enabling the continuing growth from here?
No. I think there are two meta trends that are inexorable and just continuing to accelerate. First is that currencies of all kind are digitizing. Checks are disappearing, although 85% of the world's transactions are still in cash. They're increasingly digitizing. And so you've got money in general digitizing. And whether that be in the form of cards, they will digitize, or actually currency itself will start to digitize as well. So you're seeing that happening. But all of that is enabled really by the explosion of mobile into the marketplace. probably have 80% penetration of mobile right now in the world's population. Next 5 years, call it about 90%. And there are two trends that happen with mobile. One, for consumers, is you have all the power of a bank branch in the palm of your hand right now. And so basic consumer financial transactions can be done quickly. You don't need to stand in line to make the transaction. You can do it immediately. They're simple and easy to understand. They're more secure than money. There's a lot of leakage in money. And finally, they're much less expensive. The digital world can be 80 to 90% less expensive to serve a customer than through traditional bank branches. And so you're going to have an explosion of kind of platforms that manage and move money for consumers. On the retail side, retail is going through a fundamental transformation due to mobile as well. There used to be distinct worlds of online and offline. Mobile is blurring the distinction between online and offline. If you make a purchase using your mobile phone and pick it up in store, is that mobile or online, or is that offline? It's actually a combination. It's just commerce. And more retailers are now taking a look at what Amazon and others are doing and thinking, how do I compete? How do I use the mobile phone to get closer, to become more intimate with my customer? And digital payments is a key driver of that, integrating rewards as a currency type, it's that kind of thing. So those trends, those secular trends are driving growth through all regions of 20% plus easily throughout the world. And we only see those continuing to accelerate.
That was Dan's statement where mobile is making a major impact. And all the big corporates, the IT companies, talk about mobile first. That's the default statement. People who have seen Sundar Pichai's recent I.O., okay, their annual conference, they're going past mobile first. Mobile first is a mantra, which means you have a new initiative in the organization, you first implement it through mobile. Don't go to anything else, no standard web or any other thing, but it first comes on mobile. But Sundar Pichai's recent I.O. statement, he tells AI first. Okay, so it tries to understand the user's behavior and then react accordingly. So it's going beyond mobile. It's AI first these days. That's the trend that's coming up. Okay, that's the point what Dan reiterates here. Mobile creates a lot of possibilities. Okay, and the challenge that comes along with that. The money form, as I told, has been coming in various things. Okay, it was, as I told, initially it was the hard half shekel and the other metals. Okay, when there's a lot of individual thefts. Okay, so that's how it happened. It was in pockets and it happens now as well, but the volume has come down. Then it happened as a royal theft. Okay, where people with a lot of money, probably, even in India, huge people like the jamindars and all that, where there the thefts were more. Okay, then it happened in the banks and palaces. Okay, people want to steal. The effort is put in, why don't you steal more money? That's how the frauds increased like that. Okay, then it became the online, the card theft. Okay, the cards being used, so cards were cloned or cards were stolen or whatever. So as the money's form changes, the fraud also changes. So the people become more smarter in changing the money's form, and people become more smarter in stealing it as well. Okay. Then comes a cyber theft, which means you suddenly one fine day you find that your online thing has been hacked and there's a money transfer happen. You try to go run from pillar to post. You never know where it got transferred, and even if you find the bank, suddenly money is emptied there in the account. And that's a trend. And of course, the latest thing that's happening is along with the Bitcoin theft. There is at least one occurrence of Bitcoin that has been already reported. Okay, so while we thought Bitcoin is a new form of currency and it could be safeguarded and all that, people have reported at least one instance till date about the theft of Bitcoin. So any form that money takes, along with that comes people who try to hunt it around and then take it from you. So how we safeguard is going to matter a lot. And the frauds, see, there are so many frauds that happens because primarily of the form of money. If we were living with the age-old hard currency, okay, the thefts could have been much more lesser in volume. But now we heard about so many frauds. Many of these things have not seen in volumes in this part of the world, but strange things like the luxury car fraud. Okay, in the Western, it's very, very high. People, advertise saying that they got Ducati or a high-end car, okay, and then they try to sell at a throwaway price online. Okay, people who want to buy these things, give some money, advance money for booking it, and get it lost. Okay, it happens in India as well, but not in the scale what it happens in the West. So there are a lot of frauds happen in multiple things, and the primary reason is because it is e-money. If it was hard cash, not this many frauds will happen, but it is all e-cash, e-money, which is more of your online money is stored in your banks, in accounts. It gets stolen very easily. Now, when we had the frauds, of course, we also put controls. No, we have enough controls. We enhance our technology. We put in more firewalls, encryption, VPNs and all that. We also try to monitor the dark web. Okay, people who know dark web, there is another world where the shady transaction happen. But there are governmental agencies which effectively try to track the dark web as well. Okay, and then we have more stricter cyber laws. Cyber laws also evolving. Okay, there are gray areas that gets addressed to the cyber laws, and people start demanding specific compliance. Okay, the SOX mandate comes in, the new laws come in. So if a vendor has to give a service, they have to comply to new laws. And then along this comes the new frameworks like the high trust, COBIT, PCI DSS, ISO 27001 and all that. So, if you're a vendor, then, or a customer going to a vendor, tell, no, do you have PCI DSS? That's a mandate. Okay, there's no choice for a merchant. So these fraud controls also keep coming continuously. Okay, we have expert on cyber law who will be talking about a lot on how things are being managed and controlled. Cryptocurrencies, okay. When we talk about cryptocurrency, this is the current thing, okay, the current trend in cryptocurrency. We know about Bitcoin, okay. Bitcoins, all these cryptocurrencies are traded. Remember that they are not shady transaction, they are traded. In the Western countries, there are ATMs where you can buy Bitcoins, okay. Just you pay the money at the current rate, it prints out the QR code for you. That's a Bitcoin amount, so it's stored for you, okay. So it is exchanged. We know only about Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes at around $3.4 billion of trading currently. But Bitcoin is not alone. Have you heard any other cryptocurrencies have Bitcoin? Bitcoin is the most popular. You ask about cryptocurrency, people talk about Bitcoin. Any other things have you heard? Any other cryptocurrencies? Any awareness of cryptocurrencies? This is a trend either way. I didn't get Ethereum, great. That's a precise thing. So Ethereum is the next competitor for Bitcoin. It is 1/10 in volume of exchanging, okay, but it's the next competition for Bitcoin. That's the next one coming up. Ethereum is a strong competitor, and it doesn't stop there. Okay, there's a Litecoin, okay, and there are many other cryptocurrencies like that. You have Monero, okay. You have more currencies with, okay, Temero, and then Pascal coin. So there are so many things, and you can see the volumes there. The volumes are phenomenal. They are not done in few millions. The lowest is around $60 million of trading. That's happening. People buy, and then when it goes at a higher price, they sell it off. So that's happening currently. And all the figures what I've given is as of 23rd Feb, okay? It keeps changing, it keeps growing with time. So this is the way it's happening. There are a lot of Indian entities that trade on these cryptocurrencies. So what we should understand is this is not alien to the country. This is very much local to us. What's happening here is what I'm talking about here. So last year we talked about ransomware. I got to know that some of the participants were wondering, will ransomware ever come to India? Sort of stuff. Okay, when we conduct the second conference, we're able to see at least a couple of attacks. Okay, so that's a speed at which the security is being compromised, and the controls are getting built as well along with that. And the primary contributor for this are for the services I'm talking about. Okay, for the services of fintech companies, there is a huge investment on the fintech companies. You can see there are quite a few. Among them, things like the PayPal, okay, Cabbage, Braintree, There are at least Stripe and then one more. These 5 companies are doing very well, so they'll come into our country very soon as well. The new ones, what I'm talking about there. Okay, and you can see the investment in fintech. It's $7.4 billion of funding for these organizations. This is global. But the good news is Indian companies are not bad, are not behind. They are also there, and that's huge ones. Okay, there are Indian companies across various spectrums. The best part is the government itself is into this as well. Okay, like as you know these days, the BIMs and the UPIs and all that. So we have a lot of those things, and the private players. Okay, that's for us. What all we knew on the fintech Indian companies is probably things like the Paytm and the Azure, Oxygen sort of thing. But that's not the only one. There are quite a lot. Okay, and as I put there is really a fairy tale that's going to be told for Indian fintech companies. Wait and watch these companies. They're going to be big winners in the game, and they will be affecting your day-to-day life. Okay, if you want to buy insurance, if you want to take a loan, if you want to do a microfinancing and take some money, all those things are going to be done by these people. So you're not going to handle hard cash. You're going to do many of these apps. Okay. I have a small video to tell the trend that's going to come up in the payment.
Let us dance among the stars. Let us carve our names on Mars. Seeing that we hold the key, we are electricity. We are more than meets the eye, so much more than meets the eye. The head is closest to the sky, the mind the cheapest way to fly. Oh, dreams, thoughts, ideas, can't you see? We are electricity. We are more than meets the eye. So much more than meets the eye.
So that is what is going to come. So where was the money? The money was in the band. Okay, you saw the sequence, right? She was loading the money into the band. So what all max could loss is the 35 euros, what will be on the band. That's the risk loss. And in billing, it's going by gesture. When it's a fixed amount, you get billed for 7.5 euros, it's direct. But if you want to give a tip, he gives a tip in that. And the tip happens by the gesture. He tells 1.5 euros as tip. Okay, so that goes by the gesture. And this is what the trend is coming. And what I heard is some of the wristband-based payment is already in. Okay, at least one entity in Delhi is accepting wrist-based thing. That's a trend that's coming up. So people think a lot when they devise these things. There's a lot of security. It's displayed on the arm. You can see that. What amount is going to be there. That's how. So a lot of technology coming up. And of course, there'll be some challenges coming for these things as well as we go. Okay, but this is what in for a store, for us in the future, in the near future, rather. So I'm trying to wind up the session by a few things that's going to be inevitable in the future, okay? There's going to be a lot of transparency in the transaction of a common man when they do the financial transaction. Whenever you go, now the Aadhaar link is done, so the movement of individual anywhere can be seen. The moment you use your card, okay, you know you are there because the card is linked to the Aadhaar tells who you are. Okay, there's going to be a lot of transparency. I mean, good or bad, that's going to happen. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of investment in the fraud control. Okay, the fraud control actually become bigger than what it is. Okay, and then the regulations are going to become more tighter. Okay, so it can't be the way what it used to be. It will become more tighter than what it was. Okay, and the cryptocurrencies are going to be more. Okay, we saw only the top 5 here, but then more are going to come. Okay, and their sustainability is going to be known probably in the next 3 to 5 years time. How reliable is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is an interesting thing. We have an excellent speaker on that as well today who will tell in depth about it. Okay, so how sustainable is Bitcoin also will be known in the short duration, 3 to 5 years time. Okay, these are the ones, and the ATMs will dwindle. Okay, ATMs should go beyond dispensing cash. Okay, probably they should book your tickets, book your holidays. Okay, help you out in many other things. Then you can see the ATMs. Else ATMs will vanish over a period of time. Okay, these are the trends that's coming up, and the governmental support should become more than what it is now, because there will be a lot of regulations which individual body cannot do. They have to do it together for multiple merchants, and this can be done only by the government. Okay, so these are the developments that will be coming up in the future. So let's get ready for all these things, and it's going to be more fun. So that's my short speech. I'm open for any questions if there are any questions now. Any quick questions which you could, this generic stuff, okay, it talks more on the broad things that are going to come, okay. So,
Good morning, Ram.
yes, Vidya.
See, when we are talking so much about a cashless transaction and completely on digitalizations, you might have also heard recently some hacking taking place, like original card being duplicated or cash being withdrawn from small ATM. For example, you may have the limit as 15,000 or 20,000 rupees. They manipulate it and do it in multiple places.
Yeah.
Now, how will technology help enable to ensure that such things are arrested, number one? And number two is, how will for example, though the mobile technology has got evolved so much, and you are getting various modes by which some transactions taking place either in your email or in your mobile, but still we are facing a lot of challenges in this. So how do you think this can be arrested, and how do you think the money can be safeguarded?
Okay, good question, Vidya. First thing is you asked how will technology handle this, right? Okay, yeah. that was first thing. Let me tell you one thing very clear. Anti-fraud activities starts purely with common sense. Please take it from me. It is not a technology that's safeguarding you primarily. Primarily what safeguards us is our common sense. Okay, if we continue not to register our mobiles, if we continue not to know the regulations that is here in the country, if we overlook, a small debit in the account and assume maybe I've done this expense and all that and then not bother about it, then it creates problem. Handling a fraud that has happened to us is very easy, provided you are aware of the avenues to address it. The first thing is, okay, simplest thing, okay, and if we have the ability to write the PIN number of the card behind the PIN and still lose our money and then cry about it, doesn't make any sense, right? There are people who do that, okay? And if you don't register mobile, there's no message. At least in register mobile, you get a message of debit. Okay, the bank, the merchant has got a need to prove the transaction. Okay, Mr. Navi could tell more about it when he talks about the law. But then whatever I know is when I get a debit, which I didn't do, okay, I am supposed to immediately complain to the concerned people. There are a lot of avenues available that you have to utilize them. So technology comes later. That's the point I'm trying to drive. So when you encounter a fraud, immediately take up the avenues, the channels before you, and try to address them. Okay. If that step is not taken, then comes the technology. Trying to see, getting the forensics where it went wrong, from where they hacked, and all that stuff. Okay. But primarily, our reaction to it should be fast. And to be fast, you should know the avenues available. That's the thing. This is going to be there. Let us be very clear about it. Let us not try to think about a world where there is no card fraud, no online fraud, and all that. That's not going to be the case. It's an ongoing race, as I told. Okay, but we should be aware of the avenues that we can resolve this issue. That's the primary thing that's going to help us. Okay. Anything else? True. The point is very valid. There used to be a graph which tells the rise of crime volume and the age of people doing the crime. The age is coming down, the crime volume is going up. That's how it is, because it's easy to do a crime. Okay, because of tools available online. That's the way things are. So, I mean, knowing so much, we should be safeguarding ourselves. That's the message. Hacking is there to stay. Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, yes. It's never going to end. It's never going to end. Okay, two things. You're talking about government itself encouraging other governments to be raided or hacked and all that. Okay, that's going to continue. But that at least there are agencies which monitor on both sides how to do and how to stop. Okay, but the problem is more on the common man getting hit. That is a bigger trouble. Okay, for which probably, like our chief guest told, the awareness at various level has to be increased. So that, how do you think about it? People go to the ATM, there's someone standing nearby, and then this guy asks the ATM pin and all that, they easily give it. They don't understand it's a precious money that they're giving off. Okay, so this guy, after the person moves, withdraws more money and goes off. The awareness is not there. That's the primary cause.
So one question, so what is beyond cryptocurrencies?
I mean, honestly, cryptocurrency itself was something new when it came up. Okay, I could not imagine things beyond cryptocurrency. When cryptocurrency started, they never thought it will become so big. Okay, I want to dream and find it out, but then I'm at loss, honestly. But there's something new going to come, that's for sure. When is the question? Traditionally, when a 100 rupees note was issued by the central bank, the RBI for India, there was supposed to be gold worth 100 rupees safeguarded by them, unless it's inflation. Okay, but cryptocurrency goes on totally different mode. Okay, where it's more the algorithm, and then so if this can happen, something new can definitely come up like this. But what? I'm also waiting and watching. Okay, thanks for the questions. Okay.
Ram, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
With regard to the Bitcoin, I think the bottom line is that blockchain.
Yeah.
Recently, I read an article from the Australian government has taken an initiative to explore the blockchain for the other purposes.
Right.
Yeah. So beyond the the Bitcoins and cryptocurrency, are there any such initiatives or within our country or in any other countries?
See,
exploiting the blockchain technology.
See, one thing, blockchain is catching up with the banks. ICC Bank has got a solution based on blockchain. Okay, the best thing I read about it is merger of technologies. Not Indian logistics company, but somewhere in Europe, the logistics company uses blockchain and IoT for their transfers. The metal what they carry, through IoT, they sense the data, perishable products, okay? They sense continuously and then store the data into blockchain. So blockchain is unchangeable data. The registry is so strong, it can't be modified. So this data from IoT into blockchain can be seen by the customers online as the goods move. So they know how fresh it is when it reaches the destination. So such sort of merging of technology is coming up. That's a trend. But the banks specifically in India have started it. One at least ICICI Bank. I don't know, one more bank is also there, but ICICI got a solution based on blockchain. The beauty is, when it started, people told blockchain like a bad element, okay, not to be touched upon. Now they're trying to use it and make the solution for themselves. That's where trend is coming up.
Thank you.
Ram?
Yeah.
Here. I'm standing up.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yeah. You're talking about cashless, and I come from a company which is Chennai-based, PPI-based company. So I support cashless. But however, taking the country's population and forget about the top cities, down the line in South India, say Mayavaram, Kumbakonam, everything is predominantly on cash.
Yeah.
Do you think we are too early when it comes to cashless? Are we in a hurry? Is it going to die, or is it going to take time, and we're going to achieve cashless?
You got around 4 questions in one question. First is you're asking about a policy decision. So is it right? The government feels it is right. Okay. So, but the purpose of this is to have traceability of all the financial transactions. That's the purpose. It is not to do away with the physical cash. That's not the intent. To have traceability of whatever financial transaction happen, that is the intent. At this point in time, if you ask me whether it will die away and all that, I don't think so. I think it has come to stay. Okay, but the proliferation of this initiative may be taking much more time than expected, but it has come to stay. As our chief was telling, in India, we have around 80% or whatever physical cash transactions, whereas in Western countries, it's around 22. So definitely they'll try to bring down the physical cash transaction to a much lower number. That's for sure. Okay. It helps in the tax collection. That was one thing primarily aimed at. Else people in hard cash, it's not traceable, and the tax is much lower than expected. But this brings in more tax to the government. So I think it's going to stay, but it may take time. It's got a lot of hurdles, no doubt about it, but it is going to be there. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Oh, yeah, one more. Sorry, yeah. Sorry.
Good morning, Ram.
Good morning.
See, my question is also multi-part. Probably there is no answer for those questions, but probably it will help us to think about it. The first is, today's economy is defined by assets, physical assets, land, property, gold, etc. So when we go for a digital economy, in the recent interview, the Alibaba founder said, Alibaba itself is an economic entity. It's difficult to understand what he's trying to tell. So what will happen to the economy as such, world economy as such? What will define it? Secondly, when we go for a digital economy, I think most of the financial institutions might disappear, right? And they were, until now, they were getting a AAA rating for their credibility. So what will happen to that? And in case of, whatever kind of financial institution that is dealing with this digital currency, if it collapses, there has got to be a new set of insurances to help those who invested.
Okay. The financial institutions will not disappear. Whoever are creative and adaptive will transform. I don't see things disappearing. They'll be transforming. You are seeing a lot of new things coming up. The Fintech companies in India, I told you, okay, such things, the payments bank coming up. So there'll be a transformation. People who are able to adapt will transform. Okay. And for me, more because of transparency it brings in, it will do more good for the economy. There will be hurdles for any initiative that you take. Okay, there's no initiative where it is always positive. There will be some negative part of it as well. But in the long run, it will be giving benefit, that's for sure. Okay, good. Thanks for your patience. Thanks for support. See you again.